Welcome to Temple of Geek's Who Review, a Doctor Who-inspired podcast for fans of the long-running British science fiction television series. I'm your host, Elizabeth, aka Lady of Time Cosplay. We are massive Doctor Who fans here, and we're here to talk about all things Doctor Who. Throughout our series, we'll be discussing the latest episodes, the classic series, the spin-offs, and everything in between. We'll also bring you interviews with people who have worked in and around the series, behind-the-scenes information, and all sorts of Doctor Who-related fun. So whether you're a longtime fan or just getting started, we hope you'll join us for the ride. And today, we're going to be talking about the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. But just two things that I want to mention real quick before we get started. So we haven't done an episode of this podcast in a while because it was our understanding, and we had heard from SAG, that even though Doctor Who is not made under a SAG-AFTRA contract, it's made under an equity contract because that is the UK's equivalent of the Actors Union out there. They were considering Doctor Who struck work because of how a lot of their asks were about to do with like streaming services, and Doctor Who is on a lot of has been on or is on a lot of different major streaming services in the States, so they were considering it struck. So out of respect for that, we did put a pause on it, but we are very glad to be back in time for the 60th anniversary specials. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too is Nate is not with us this week because he and Monica got married last week, so that's very exciting for them. Congratulations. Yay! I can't wait to see both of them and all of you guys at Gallifrey 1 in February, so very excited for that. Before we get started, though, do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dana. I'm a journalist for Temple of Geek, 1883, a whole bunch of other outlets. Ooh, that's a lot. And you can find me on the internet at A Bit Meddlesome, and I'll pass it over to Maddie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I am the Chief Creative Officer here at Temple of Geek. I am a huge cosplayer, and I am so excited to be talking about Doctor Who. My username on the internet is Maddie_Whovian, so Doctor Who's my first love, and I'm so excited about this.
And then for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Elizabeth, aka Lady of Time Cosplay, and I am one of the co-hosts of this podcast. And I love Doctor Who. It is like my biggest fandom, and I am so excited that it is back after over a year being gone, especially with these 3 phenomenal episodes. I'm just going to say it. They're amazing.
Yes.
So to get us started, what are your overall thoughts on the 60th specials, and were they what you expected?
It's not what I expected. It felt like an extension of season 4. Basically, it worked well as like individual stories. I'm not sure if that's what like they were, if they wanted like an overall arc or if they wanted to just do individual stories, but I thought it worked well. I liked each episode for like its uniqueness and the callbacks, like the meep in the Wild Blue Yonder, calling it back to like using the HADs. That's something that they haven't used since like the Second Doctor era, which I thought was really cool. And then going back to last night's episode and having the toy maker as a villain was, I love Russell for going like deep cuts. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I loved every episode. I like that it's good for fans from all levels, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. If you are like the 3 of us who've been watching forever and like know the, deep cuts, like you said, it was really exciting to see those things. But then like new fans can go, oh, what? Like, oh, that's really cool, looking things up. Like, who's the toy maker, and it kind of like gives Doctor Who a little bit more of a boost too for like, those like older episodes. Because I know personally, I haven't seen the Toymaker episodes, but I like knew.
You can't.
Yeah. Like way back when it was on Netflix, like you could watch the first like set like a few episodes of the first Doctor, but I don't think he was even there.
Yeah,
but
well,
it was
actually I don't want to interrupt, but like the Toymaker episodes don't exist. They're one of the lost episodes, so you can't watch them. I know there's an animated version of it coming out though, so
gotcha. Okay,
it's not that
I mean that makes sense too.
Haven't watched them, it's that you can't.
You can't. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense too. Yeah. But like Donna is, Donna's my favorite companion. Mm-hmm. And so when they announced that she was coming back, I was already so excited, but also like begged the question, like how on earth are they going to bring her back? Like, what are they going to do? And I think the way that they did bring her back and brought the Doctor back, like, was really clever and clearly beyond something I could ever expect. And I feel like that's Doctor Who in general. Like, you can theorize and think about all of the what ifs, but it's time travel, it's wibbly wobbly. Like, you're being able to predict what they're going to do is very difficult.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I adored all 3 episodes. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I expected from them, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I did not go and seek out the leaks myself that happened, but like I would occasionally see stuff that crossed it once in a while, and there was one in particular that I'm like, that's silly, that's not going to happen, and then it did. So there's that. We'll talk about that one a little bit later on. Yeah, so overall I loved them. They were great episodes. There were a couple little things that I might have wanted to see done slightly differently, but overall I loved it. I'm excited that Russell T Davies is back. And I can't wait to see what else he does, you know? I almost wanted to say, you know, which was your favorite, but I mean, this is kind of a what's your favorite, but also, you know, which of the specials did you guys think were the strongest?
They were all strong in their own right, but I think I have to, like, I don't know. I kind of like, I liked Wild Blue Yonder. I think that one was my favorite, just because it was literally just the Doctor and Donna having those quiet moments and just being on that spaceship by themselves. There was something terrifying in that. Like, it gave me very like 2001 Space Odyssey, like Aliens type vibe, and I just love that. The fact that, you know, Donna's kind of trying to prod at the Doctor, like, why aren't you opening up? Why aren't you talking? Like, I saw what was going on in your head. Like, let's have a conversation. And he's just not having it. And it was such a well-written story, and it kind of gave me Midnight vibes almost. It was very creepy, which I loved it so much. So I would probably say that one, but I liked all 3.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to agree with just about everything you said, Dana. I love Catherine Tate and David Tennant's chemistry on screen. The humor is back, like the comment about his suit in the first episode. You know, over 35, like, you shouldn't be wearing that outfit. Just was a great little, like, the little jabs that they have. Like, okay, are you talking to the Doctor or are you talking to David Tennant? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt so... Right? Like, they're like little jabs at each other. Like, I feel like could have been both personal and in character. You know, in that first episode when she didn't know who he was, right? You know, but like, I agree. I think that second episode where it was just the 2 of them, their acting was so strong, and like, those, you know, oh my, like, at first you're like, okay, no, I think I know who the Doctor actually is. Like, no, that's like, can't be him, right? Like, it was wild. And the episode name, like, Wild Blue Yonder, like, was awesome, you know, but it was freaky. And seeing them act like that was incredible. But, you know, I think performance of the year is going to have to go to Neil Patrick Harris, and I know we'll talk about him in a little bit. But I think overall, as far as like storytelling goes, that second episode was top notch.
Yeah, I basically have the same exact thoughts as you guys. Wild Blue Yonder was definitely my favorite. And like you said, very strong midnight vibes. I love that every so often the Doctor Who writers come up with a new thing for people to be terrified of that should be just like completely normal or whatever. Like, you know, be scared of statues, be scared of cracks in your wall, be scared of like talking and having somebody else repeat what you're saying. Now be scared of thinking.
Right.
Great.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh my
Great.
God.
Thanks, Russell. Gosh.
Thanks so much.
Gosh. Okay,
Thank
Russell.
you, Russell. You know what's great is the fact that we don't know what either of those aliens were, like in Midnight and in Wild Blue Yonder. We don't know what they were.
Yeah, that's right.
We have no idea. Yeah.
I know.
We just know
I wonder
we just
if they
like
might
know
be
what they wanted, but
somehow.
we didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
we will never know.
Yeah, maybe they're connected somehow. Who knows?
Oh, no.
But
Yeah.
I will say though, I think as like I loved Wild Blue Yonder. It's definitely my favorite. I do think Giggle had the most interesting story, especially with the angle of like, oh, everybody thinks they're right because of the internet kind of thing. I thought that was very interesting, especially because I'm going to go on a little tiny bit of a tangent. I will not go on for too long, but the Game Awards were earlier this week, and as somebody who is a casual gamer, it's been interesting to watch everybody react to the Game of the Year. There's stuff, the internet loves to eat itself alive over people's opinions. That's all I really want to say about that. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I like that in that episode there were a lot of that episode was fun with like the jabs at like the government and like humanity as a whole. Like,
yes,
I was like, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Like,
yep. I love that he got Trinity Wells back too. That was fun. I love seeing Trinity Wells back, and apparently Trinity Wells turned to an anti-vaxxer.
She has her own show now. She's not just like a news anchor. She got promoted.
I love it when the writers bring back
That's cool.
bits and pieces from their own kind of era. So yeah, we talked about which episodes we thought we were the strongest. Did you have, just generally talking about what you love about the specials, did you have a favorite moment, scene, new character, etc.? Just basically, let's talk about what we love the most from these episodes.
Oh God, how much time do you have?
Right?
I have a really long list. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. The Doctor seeing Donna again and then putting the boxes right back on top. Meeting Shirley, Donna discovering the meat was probably one of my favorite things, like poking it in the eye. Rose correcting the Doctor when he assumes male pronouns for the meep, which I really loved. I love Rose. Like, the casting of Yasmin Finney was fantastic. Like, kudos to Russell T Davies for doing that. Seeing the Sonic do a force field, which we've never seen before.
That was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. And I was just kind of like, you mean it could have done this the whole time?
The whole time?
Maybe not the whole time.
I don't know. And also, like, the meta crisis being passed down, I thought was really cool. Like, I could just go on about, like, the Star Beast just by itself. So, I'm going to pass it on to Maddie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to gush about. Right, it's really hard not to gush about these specials. I think like you said, Rose was amazing. I adored every scene with her in it. Like I said before, Neil Patrick Harris deserves like an award for his performance as the toy maker. Like, the amount of times I like squealed when he was like doing stuff, and that performance to spice up your life. I wish I had taken a picture of my live reaction, because my millennial heart like exploded. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, we're gonna get this in Doctor Who? Like, I could not believe it. I was like, this is the greatest thing I have ever seen. Like, holy moly, man. And then like the guns shooting rose petals, like he's just dancing around like it's no big deal. Just the way that all of that stuff was shot was really cool. And then he was just gone. Like, it's this big production, like, I'm gonna mess with you. I'm going to play this song that, like, every Whovian is going to have stuck in their head for the next 5 years. Like, spice up your life. And then he's just gone. And you're like, oh, okay. And it was brilliant. And he went through, like, 5 different accent changes, like, in that episode. And it was funny because I had to put the subtitles on because my audio on my TV was kind of being funky. And every time he spoke, it was like German accent, English accent, American accent. And so it was just fun to like watch like the captions like tell you.
There was like a very specific way they described the American accent too. Like, it wasn't just with an American accent. It was like some weird descriptor, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good, and I was so heartbroken during the puppet scene where he had the companions on strings, and he and the way you watch the Doctor justify how he lost them. And then the toy maker going, well, that's okay then. And then he cuts their strings. He's like, well, obviously. And it was it was a very creative way to watch the Doctor be confronted with his guilt. And it was so well done. And again, David Tennant and Catherine Tate's chemistry on screen, she's trying to reassure him, and he's got that look in his eyes that he's just I can't believe I couldn't save them, but they're okay. They're fine. They died because blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to justify it, but really he still feels so bad, And then you have the toy maker turning it into a game was really well done. And I will yell about that Spice Girls scene though forever.
Yes. My only issue with that is they should have let him sing, because it's Neil Patrick Harris.
True. Yeah. Yes.
Neil Patrick Harris.
They should have.
Patrick Harris. They didn't let him sing.
Right. That would have been. Oh my gosh. I think they knew it would have been too powerful if they had let him sing. They would have Disney Plus would have shut down or something. Something would have happened if they let him sing. It would have been
true.
It would have been too powerful, so they knew.
I know, but yeah, that entire episode, anytime he was on screen, I'm watching it. I was just I need a series of unfortunate events rewatch now.
Yeah,
because he does all those accents and stuff in that too.
Yeah.
And it was oh my god. I was also obviously they had to defeat him, but I was almost a little disappointed that they defeated him, because I want him in it more.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was oh, the Doctor's offering, but I was there's no way. And then obviously we know that he didn't go with him, but I was that would have been so cool, even for an episode. But
yeah, and it reminded me of a little bit of with John Sims' Master and the 10th Doctor too. I was oh, I'm
yes.
I was yeah, that's not going to go well, is it? Okay.
No.
Yeah. I loved all of it though too. I mean, seeing Donna again was great. Her and her family, Sylvia especially, I think was a riot.
Yes.
I
love. Yes, that was great. I do love that they gave Donna the happy ending she deserved.
Yeah,
for sure.
With remembering the Doctor,
Yes.
So
yeah.
It was great.
And then her husband too. I'm oh, he's so sweet.
So cute.
So sweet. They're
he's just along for the ride.
He is, and he loves them all so much. It's adorable.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and and I thought Shirley was a really cool character. I can't wait. I'm kind of assuming that was a bit of a backdoor pilot for a unit spinoff, maybe possibly. We'll talk about that later, though.
Right.
Shirley was really cool. I loved seeing Kate again. Kate Stewart is
always,
one of the best non-series regular characters in recent years, I think. I haven't listened to all of the Big Finish stuff that she's done, but the unit stuff for Big Finish is a lot of fun too. I only wish that they had a way to have Osgood in there too, because I love her as well, and I would have loved to see what new outfit they could come up with her, and see, even though he was only ultimately able to film just the one scene, seeing Bernard Cribbins back as Wilfred Mott for one last time.
I cried so many tears.
I cried so hard.
I knew I was going to be sad, but I was not expecting to weep the moment I saw him on screen. And then the way they
me too,
left it open at the end of that episode of the final special, where they're oh, he's out with chasing the moles, or whatever. And I'm it's because he's not there.
I know, yeah. And I was just so glad that Wilf got to see the Doctor again.
Oh my gosh, the hug.
Because, the hug, and just because the last Wilf saw the Doctor, he was about to go die. And, there is part of me that I would have, I feel like Wilf in the 12th Doctor would have gotten along like a house on fire. They would have been so much fun together, but that's a whole other thing. But for Wilf to get to see the Doctor with that face again was so special, and I'm so glad that they were able to have Bernard Cribbins as part of the anniversary specials. I did see Russell T Davies did say on Instagram, I think, that they did have more scenes for him written, but because of Bernard Cribbins' health, he just wasn't able to film them. I'm kind of hoping, because they do have novelizations of all 3 episodes coming out. I think the digital ones are coming really soon, but like the print versions will come out early next year. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we'll get those scenes in the books, because I just want to know more about how Wilf is doing and everything, I'm very excited for those books. Like the Doctor Who novelizations that they've come out in recent years are a lot of fun, and it's very cool to me that they're doing novelizations for such new episodes. I think of the ones that they've done for New Who, the most recent episode that they've done aside from these, I think, is the Witch Hunters. I think.
Really? That recent?
Yeah.
Wow.
That one, I forget if that was like the most recent wave of books or if it was the last wave of books. But yeah, this is the first time like they're coming out like within like a couple months of the episode coming out. So it's kind of cool. I'm interested to see how that goes. Because they always add more stuff in there, and it's fun because you get to see more of like what's going on inside the characters' heads and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just overall, I loved all of it so much.
So much.
So much.
No notes.
But yes.
No notes. Right.
Thank you, Russell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Little tiny things, but I love that. But yeah, speaking of things that might have varying reactions online, what did you guys think about the bi-generation?
I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm still kind of grappling with it, but I will say that I admire Russell T Davies's guts for doing something so bold. And it's a good way, to carry on the show. 60 years in, you have to find new ways. If you want this to continue for another 60 years, knock on wood,
right?
You have to find ways of refreshing the show. So I thought it was a very bold move. I'm still not sure how to feel about it. The internet, I've been watching people's reaction videos to the giggle like prior to us recording this, and a lot of like older Whovians are just like, not sure how I feel about this, but we'll see where it goes. Yeah. So that gives me a tiny bit of hope. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool idea to bring another Doctor into the anniversary, because with the 50th, you had 3 Doctors. You had 10, 11, and the War Doctor all together. And so for the 60th, to have both of them working together was not as far-fetched as you think. The bi-generation is obviously new, and the way they're like, oh, it's just a myth, like we didn't know it could happen, was kind of a fun way to be like, here, now it's happening, but like Dana said, the show's been on for 60 years. Like, let the writers do fresh things. Like, if you want to keep it interesting and have the characters do new and fun things, you're gonna have to throw a wrench into everyone's ideas of what the show's supposed to be. Let the 14th Doctor, it was already a shock to see David Tennant again, right? Like, hello, that has never happened before, right? Well, technically it has, because David Tennant is 10-2, and the 10th Doctor and the 14th, you know what I mean? So like,
and technically the 11th, if you want to get into semantics.
Exactly. Yeah, he regenerated, but he didn't, like, it's my whole thing is like, you guys, it's fake, it's time travel, and it's in space. Like, let's just have fun and see where it goes. And I was already expecting to cry, obviously losing David Tennant again. So when the regeneration was happening, I was already crying, because I was like, oh, halfway through the episode, we're getting the regeneration. Like, okay, but that'll be a great way to introduce 15, like to have him for the last half. And then when it didn't happen, I was like, what?
I was so mad.
peeling him apart though was so cute. Like pulling him apart like a banana was like, like that's what it felt like. It was just like, am I wrong?
Wow. Oh my god!
You know, I am fully expecting Doctor Who cosplayers to cosplay 14 in his underwear and unbuttoned shirt, like with the tie loose around his neck. Like, please, guys, like I would do it at Galley if I wouldn't freeze because I'm a native Californian and in February I can't do it. But like, it would be it would be amazing. And I feel like the bi-generation was such a fun way to have the Doctors work together, first of all. We got to see Ncuti. That's how you pronounce it, right? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Ncuti,
yeah.
Yes.
You know, to see him.
Yes.
I already adore him. Like, I knew I was going to love him, but, like, I'm really excited to see his Doctor because it's like, it was like watching the Doctor forgive himself. Like, when he, you know, was like, you can't save them all. I can't save them all. Like, I also, like, I'm you. I loved Sarah Jane. I loved Rose Tyler. Like, I know how you feel, but we have to come to terms with forgiving ourselves for the things that happened. And it was phenomenal. It was so good. And I will be the one who says, yay, bi-generation. Like, yes, let's do it again. Like, you know, the 70th. Like, let's do it again, guys. Like, it's...
Oh my god! Yeah, I will say I thought it was a very good way to reset the character without resetting the character because the show, especially now that it's going to be on Disney Plus, and I'm sure Disney, from what I understand, Disney wasn't super interested in doing a lot of promotion for the 60th because it was more of a continuation, but they're going to start doing more stuff with 15 because it is a fresh start and a good place for people to start the show. So it made sense that they needed some sort of way to kind of not entirely lose the baggage that the Doctor has, but to just like relieve some of that pressure that the Doctor has so that it's not confusing to new fans. And I think that it was a good solution to do it that way. And I'm really glad that people who, like myself, are a little not sure how to feel about the concept yet. We're all, like, for the most part, this is what I've seen too, where people are like, not sure how I feel about it, but let's see what happens kind of thing. I thought it was, because I was sitting there, I was like, oh my god, they're going to kill him off halfway through, but also I'm excited because Ncuti was coming, yes, but also, wait. And then he didn't change his face, and I was like,
it was whiplash.
I will never forget the amount of time.
It was wild.
Russell T Davies has given us emotional whiplash.
Right. This goes on the counter, right? Like it.
Like, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks, Russell.
You're like crying because you're sad because you're expecting the regeneration, and then you're like gasping because you're like, what the heck is happening? And then, at least for me, I was crying happy tears when it was both of them, and I was just like, whoa, okay. I had to pause it. I was like, I need a sec. Like this.
It's such a fascinating concept, and
I was gonna say, like, that moment where 14 when 15 holds 14 and kisses him on the forehead, and he's like, I got you. I'm like, stop, I already love him. Right. I was like, oh, he's so precious. I'm so excited.
I'm like, he's so sweet and I love him. Like, I'm so excited for Ncuti as the Doctor.
Me too.
But the one single concern that I do have about the bi-generation thing is that David Tennant as the Doctor still exists within the show's canon, and I don't want him showing up in a unit spinoff or in another episode, or just like the idea that he's still there. I don't want that to overshadow Ncuti was run as the Doctor, if you know what I mean. Like, it's really cool, interesting concept, but I worry that there might be fans who are just like, I don't care about this guy, bring back David Tennant, I know he's there, just bring him back, that's all I want to see, kind of thing, you know what I mean?
I think that's valid.
it does work. Like, I think it's such a cool concept, but it worries me. As long as it's handled well, I don't think it'll be an issue.
I was going to say, I feel like we're in good hands with Russell T Davies and David Tennant. Like, I feel like David Tennant, as a fan of the show himself, would make sure that he didn't overshadow the next Doctor. Like,
for sure.
I trust them fully. Like, I could see where other fans could say, like, I want to see more of David Tennant, but David Tennant can be like, well, no, like, because he's already the Doctor. Like, bring me back in 5 years, sure, you know, the next anniversary, whatever, but not like right now, you know.
Right, exactly, yeah. Because if they do any spin-offs, you know, I love David Tennant a lot, as anybody will tell you, as anybody who knows me for any amount of time will be able to tell you. You know, I was one of those people. I got up at the day that Jessica Jones season 1 dropped on Netflix. I got up at 3 a.m. to watch it. You know, I love him, but just I don't want the possibility of him popping up to overshadow Ncuti Gatwa, especially as the first main series person of color to be playing the Doctor. Because also even like with the Fugitive Doctor, that also was coexisting at the same time as a white woman playing the Doctor, which you know what I mean? I want him to shine. He deserves to shine. He is so much fun. But I don't want fans who are maybe, I don't want to, you know what I mean? We know. You know the type of fans I mean.
Yeah. We understand.
You know the type of fans I mean. I don't want them to I don't know how to phrase it. I want Ncuti Gatwa to shine, and I do mostly trust Russell T Davies to not bring back David Tennant too soon. You know, I think it would be a really cool thing to have a spin-off series about what a lot of people are theorizing, that Doctor then goes on to become the curator, which I think is a fascinating concept. And I would love a show or audio series, whatever they want to do with that. Like I did see Big Finish did tweet something last night. I think it was like one of the like, you know, the guy standing there like this.
Yeah,
give
it here.
The episode last night. Like, come on, let us do something with us, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, grabby hands, yeah. And I think that would be cool. Like if David Tennant did a spin-off with Big Finish would be fantastic. Yeah. But like you said, I think we're in good hands with Russell and David Tennant, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure. And if you know, when David Tennant's, when that 14th Doctor regenerates at some point, because I'm going to assume that he can regenerate too. I don't know. Can we have Peter? I really hope somebody can convince Peter Capaldi to come back to the show one of these days, because I love him so much.
Yeah, please.
And I miss 12.
Right.
Oh, I miss 12 so much. I love him a lot. But that's like my only real concern. Otherwise, I'm just still kind of processing. But I think as long as it's handled well, and I think it'll be handled well, it'll be fine. It's an interesting new concept. And it's not like it's the first time that something weird happened with regeneration. Because I can't, Dana, you might have to remind, but like something weird happened with Romana's regeneration, didn't it? And that's how we got Pandora, or I can't remember exactly what happened in the Galaxy, because I've only listened to the early ones like once. But, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's
a thing.
It is a thing. And also, like Maddie said earlier, like, I mean, it is time travel, time and space, like anything can happen. There are no rules. Can do whatever you like.
None. Yeah. As long as you're not like rewriting the show like as a whole, you know what I mean? As long as you're not like negating things that have already happened, which I don't think the show has, you know, like it's just added on stuff. And if it's been going for 60 years, you're going to have to add more lore. Like there has to be more. Otherwise it's going to get stale really fast.
Yeah, kind of like something that I said in like a TikTok bit. Like I remember I made a TikTok like ages ago when people were first starting to talk about Russell coming back and how they're like, he's going to retcon the Timeless Child thing. And I'm like, no, he's going to make it sadder.
Right.
And then he did.
He did. He absolutely did. He did. Yeah,
he David really Tennant, did.
Yeah, the Doctor dwelling on the fact that now he has no idea who he is, and it was really sad. Like it was.
I know. And the Flux stuff, I'm like, oh, goody, closure. Like, I have my feelings on the 13th Doctor run, but, move on from that, I guess. But, yeah, because even the bi-generation thing, too, is also like, okay, we now know that the Doctor is not just a Time Lord, like, he's kind of the original Time Lord, so, like, who knows, maybe that's something that his species, whatever that was originally, could always do, so who knows, but yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with it. I can't wait for Big Finish to get their hands on that concept.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun. It'll probably be a few years, because also, like, because they announced the Fugitive Doctor and Sasha Dhawan's Masters series stuff, but, like, nothing has happened with it yet. Like, I know it's at least been written, and I think it's been recorded, because I follow people on Twitter and I see them talk about stuff, but they haven't been released yet for one reason or another, so it might be a while before we actually get Big Finish gets to be allowed to play with that kind of new toy, but I'm excited to see what they do with it when they do get that chance. So, very excited. So we really gushed about everything, and I don't think there's much that we would change, but if there is anything that you might have wanted to see done differently, what would it be?
Done differently. My only complaint or gripe, I guess, was that the first two specials felt perfectly timed. Like, those stories felt like they fit perfectly within the time frame allotted. I just felt like the giggle could have been longer, but I feel like that's just me being biased. I wanted more time in that funhouse.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I think that would be, I wanted more time in that funhouse. I wanted to see more of what the toy maker could do. I mean, when we were first introduced to him and like in Hartnell's era, I think he had like 3 or 4 episodes, as like an overall story. So I really would have loved seeing more. But yeah, otherwise, no notes, Russell. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I am definitely not one to sit and nitpick at every little tiny thing that happens on screen. I enjoy Doctor Who for what it is. I love analyzing things, but at the same time, like, I loved all of it. I do feel like the giggle started out really fast. Like, it just started, right? Like, but other than that, like, we've had Doctor Who episodes start like that before, like, just in your face, all of a sudden things are happening, right? But I don't think I would have wanted anything done differently. I think it was great. All 3 specials were amazing.
Yeah. Apart from not letting Neil Patrick Harris sing, which I think was a mistake. Come on.
Right.
My only other thing is, and part of the reason why I waited to do one episode about all of the 6-day specials rather than do an episode about each episode, is I have some mixed feelings on how they resolved the meta-crisis thing. Like, I think it's really, like, the idea that Donna passed that on to her daughter, I think is really sweet, and like how they can share that and everything. But the line about we can just let it go, like, can let it go kind of thing, kind of bugged me a little bit, not gonna lie. I know other people have had other reasons with subjects and things that I really don't feel qualified to talk about personally. But like, for me, mostly I was like, but literally the 12th Doctor's like a big part of his storyline was learning to let things go, and even his last line was "Doctor, I let you go." So that did bug me a little bit. And also I almost felt like, oh, we can just let it go was a little bit too easy. Like, when I saw that, I really thought that was going to be like part of the toy maker's game, where it was so easy for that to kind of not be a thing and not be a danger to them anymore, especially because at first I was like, okay, so Donna doesn't have that in her head anymore, but then she was like really, really good with the computers in the giggle, so I wasn't entirely sure. Like, yes, she can type really fast, but then she did like some minor hacking, I feel like, so I wasn't entirely sure on that. But that was really the only thing where I was just like, that's a neat line, but also not quite exactly what I feel like should be being said to the Doctor. entirely like, yes, he still does have issues with letting stuff go, but I don't think it's because he looks like a guy. I think that's just who the Doctor is. You know what I mean? So that was like the only little thing where I had mixed feelings on the ending of that episode. So that's why I was like, I want to see everything up front so I don't sound like a jerk complaining kind of thing. But that was really the only thing. That was really the only thing. But yeah, that was literally the only thing.
That's fair.
And let Neil Patrick Harris sing.
Let him sing. Bring him back for another episode just so he can sing. Please.
Lord.
Yeah.
Please, yes. I'm like, have you seen the man's Tony opening performances? Like, for crying out loud, I will watch the 2013, I think it's the 2013, whatever it was, the one that he got up on the ladder and he spun the giant Tony Award, that one, I watch that on YouTube all the time and I cry.
Amazing.
And fun fact, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote that. So
that's fun.
That's a fun fact. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I just let Neil Patrick sing. Anyway.
Right.
So we've had these 3 specials. We've introduced Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. Do you guys have any thoughts on the future of the show and or a possible spinoff for Unit? Like, it kind of seems like he was setting up, or just like whatever you think might happen. You know, what are you excited for? What do you think might happen?
I have like a theory on like the one who waits, because I know they keep dropping hints, and maybe this is silly, but Elizabeth, Maddie, I'm not sure if are you familiar with a lot of classic Who?
Not a lot, but
Bits and
some.
pieces.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
No, okay,
bit,
so so like I was thinking maybe it's Omega, because I mean the toy maker. Yeah, so because the toy maker exists outside of the universe, right? And Omega got catapulted outside of the universe. I was thinking maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's stupid, but I think that's maybe an avenue that they can kind of go down. And I've just been kind of sitting with that thought. Yeah. I hope maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
And
no, that's a really good theory.
Yeah.
Especially, I did recently rewatch the 3 Doctors, and you're right. Yeah, that would be, Especially because Russell does like his deep lore.
Yes.
When he's not inventing new lore, he likes his deep lore.
Yes, yeah. And speaking of like the deep lore, I really did appreciate that they like had flashes of the toy maker in the first Doctor's run when like the reveal happened in the Giggle. For those of us who were not super familiar with the toy maker, I thought that was really nice, like a really nice touch for sure. But like as far as the future of the show, you know, it could go really anywhere. And I say this a lot about Doctor Who, like it's so open. It's so open, and you can totally bring back characters from the 60s and 70s and, you know, reinvent things and move things along in so many different ways. And I think a Unit spinoff would be really interesting. Like they offered, you know, Donna a job. Like I think it would be really cool, like to see Catherine Tate like on a Doctor Who spinoff show. Like I think that would be really cool. You know, and then maybe that's where David Tennant could show up once in a while if he really wanted to, you know, like he technically, you know, the Doctor works for Unit, right? So like
he never resigned.
He never resigned.
Kate loves to remind him.
Yeah, you know. So I think that would be really cool. We would see Shirley more, and you know, we all love seeing Kate. You know, so I think I would be totally open to a Unit spinoff. I know that there was a spinoff was it after the 12th Doctor? Was it The Class? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I feel
Class,
like I didn't watch Class. Yeah, I didn't watch that one, and I think it stopped, right? Like it didn't.
Yeah. They've got one televised season, and then I can't remember if the Big Finish, like I know some of the Big Finish stuff is concurrent with the first season, and then I can't remember if they did anything with the characters past the season 1 finale or not.
Yeah, so like if we're gonna get a spinoff, I want to like see like a really good like spinoff. Like if we're gonna do Unit, like go all in, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, like I keep saying, I am so excited for Shudigawa as the Doctor. He is so like sparkly and amazing and like lighthearted, and I love him. He's so much fun. I can't wait to watch him.
Yes. But I'm
you know,
also
and-
super excited to see how he deals with the big emotions, because I
Yes.
love seeing the way
Yes.
different doctors get really intense. Like
Yeah.
when Jodie was like happy, bubbly doctor, but then when she started talking about the Cybermen, like she was mad, right? Like she had that like deep, intense look on her face, right? And we've obviously seen it with all the others, how they like get that really like protective look. So that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing, like how 15 does that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, we know he cries at least once, because in that little like Hooniverse ident thing that they put out, like there is a shot of him crying, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that.
Already.
Don't do that.
Already.
What happened to that? But yeah, you're right. Because like the 60th specials overall, we're very happy. We're very like, everything's good. I mean, yes, obviously the Toymaker did kill some people, but he didn't kill like main characters, which sounds mean, but you know what I mean. You know, overall, like the main characters all were like in good spots by the end of the 60th, and oh boy, you know, it's gonna be right. I mean, and because like the bits and pieces of the clips that they put out of the Christmas special, the Church on Ruby Road, looks so much fun. I cannot wait, especially like the little shot of him like running across the rooftops. And the fact that we're getting a musical number. Also, I'm like, if this is what we're doing with the Disney with the Disney money, I am so excited. I'm so excited.
Bring it on,
Goblin pirate ship.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be so good, so good.
Oh, I cannot wait. I am so, because like they confirmed that that's going to be in the Christmas special, and then it really seems like one of the episodes is going to be a musical episode based on kind of like the bits and pieces of both like officially released stuff and you know, some people seeing filming and stuff. But I'm just like, if Disney money gets you more musical numbers, I am all here for it.
Yes.
I'm so excited for musicals and Doctor Who.
Amazing. So ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah. Yeah, the Unit spinoff, which has been like long rumored kind of thing. I'm very excited to see what they do with that, especially because they got Disney money. They have a really nice set. Like that's a gorgeous set that they got for
beautiful.
Unit. And just to see like who else they could bring in. Like I really hope that if they do a Unit spinoff that they bring in Martha, if Reem Agaman is interested in returning, because I love her so much, and she deserves more screen time and love. Hopefully, you know, he can dance around her marital status. Whatever's going on with that.
Right.
But I'm also really interested to see, because Russell made such a point of, I trapped the Master in this gold tooth, and then the gold tooth,
and we saw,
you know, was still there. Yeah. We saw somebody pick it up. I'm like, we're bringing back the Master again, huh?
Yes,
okay, cool.
That's what I saw. Yeah. I was like, wait. I was like, hold on, wait, the hell? And then nothing happened. But like, who picked it up?
Somebody pointed out.
I know.
Well, somebody pointed out that Kate had red nail polish on. So, I'm just saying.
Ooh.
And there's pictures of it. So,
I feel like if Kate had picked it up, she probably would have just stepped on it, given her history with the Master.
Right.
Crushed him a little bit. Put it in some cement and let it just be there.
Ground it into part of the roof, the helicopter pad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was very much like the scene that you get at the end of season 3, where the Doctor is, you know, giving the Master a Jedi funeral for some reason.
Right.
And you see his ring fall down, and you see that, you know, another hand with the red nails pick up the ring. I'm pretty sure that lady's dead based on the events of the end of time. So I don't think it's going to be that lady specifically.
But that's a
but
good
it will be interesting to see where he goes with that, because I was thinking too, I'm like, ooh, who do I want to play the Master next? And I'm like, the one thought that I did have, and I haven't thought about it like a ton, like it was only something that kind of vaguely occurred to me like right before we started recording the podcast. I had, when Chris Chibnall was originally announced to be taking over Doctor Who, I was like, oh yeah, because I love Broadchurch. And so I really thought, I'm like, oh, Olivia Colman's going to be the Doctor, isn't she? Because I love her. And of course, then she, you know, she's in The Crown, and it wound up being Jodie Whittaker, which I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense too, because she was in Broadchurch as well. I would love Olivia Colman as the Master. I feel like
that would be really interesting.
Oh,
that would be a lot of fun.
That would be super interesting.
Though I'm also like, okay, with it being, you know, Disney money now, and, you know, maybe they want to get some Disney actors in, which there is a couple of Disney actors involved, both that have been and have not been announced officially. I mean, Jonathan Groff, for starters, is, you know, in it. Yeah.
But could you imagine him as the Doctor, like, or as the Master, like, take a second to, like, King George as the Master, like Kristoff as the Master? I mean, like, I don't think that's happening, but come on now.
I did see him in Little Shop of Horrors, and I think he could pull it off, to be honest.
Oh, he totally could.
Yeah, and then I can't remember the actress's name, but the lady, and I can't remember the character's name either, but the lady who helped Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan series, who was an Imperial officer but then decided to help the Path, she's in it as well, and I believe in the same episode as Jonathan Groff, and she's referred to as the Duchess. So it, you know, maybe she's playing the Master, I don't know, but I just keep thinking, I'm like, okay, what Marvel or Star Wars actor could Disney be like, hey, can you put this person on? That'd be fun, wouldn't it? You know, because I do feel like we might see more American actors being in Doctor Who just because of the Disney partnership that they have now, and I'm just like,
you know, Pedro Pascal is rumored for everything, so why don't we just rumor him for the Master, and he can just be on the list for everything? Like, just put Pedro Pascal in. Put Pedro Pascal and Doctor Who as the Master, please. I broke Elizabeth.
That'd be really good. That'd be really good. I mean, here, I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I really want Andrew Garfield to play the Doctor. So bad. But yeah, I'm just like, there's
put him in as the Master.
I think he could do. Okay.
I think he could be unhinged. I can see it.
I don't doubt that he could do it. I'm just like, oh.
I would love it. Yeah, that's true.
A little bit. Yeah. No, but yeah, there's a lot of great options for the Master. I just hope that I want Doctor Who to remain like a BBC production. I want it to like remain, you know, mostly a British show, but I do think it'll be interesting to see what possibilities open up with this Disney Plus, not only their money, but also their connections. Like one thing that I keep thinking about is I would love Dave Filoni to direct an episode or to write an episode. I think that would be really fun, but he's probably busy now he's you know, with his new position at Lucasfilm. Yeah. But I feel like that would be fun. You know, there's a lot of people that I think, you know, I as long as they're not like taking away completely the opportunity for British writers and directors to work on the show, there's a lot of people who were involved in Star Wars and Marvel and other Disney things that I would really, really love to see, you know, get to be at least a small part of the Doctor Who universe, either in writing, directing, or acting. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, because now I'm thinking about Ewan McGregor being the Master, because I remember it. I remember at Gallifrey 1. Yeah,
that was really cool.
You know, let him act it with his own accent, kind of thing. Because I remember, I think it was a few years at Gallifrey 1 at one of the Big Finish panels. They talked about how they almost cast like a pre-Star Wars Ewan McGregor as they used to do, and they still kind of do it, but I guess the BBC's kind of been like, hey, can you not? Where they do a series called Unbound, which is basically kind of a what if for Doctor Who. And at one point, they had almost cast him as a Unbound What If Doctor,
Really?
like right before he got Star Wars. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they talked about
so
that at
cool.
Gallifrey 1 a few years ago. And I'm like, oh, that would have been so
my
cool.
God.
Oh, the what ifs.
Oh, the what ifs. I would love a Doctor Who what if show. I want a Star Wars what if show. I'm like, all of them, please, thank you. All the multiverse stuff. I don't care anymore.
Well, and I feel like Doctor Who is one giant what if, honestly. Like, Doctor Who is one big what if, right? Like,
Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. And I said this at a panel that I was a part of at Gallifrey 1 earlier this year too, but I really hope that Disney lets Big Finish and the comics and everything continue to exist, depending on how this partnership goes, kind of thing. But I'm like, Big Finish needs to be allowed to exist, and they need to be allowed to play with the new toys, please.
Well,
so much fun.
The good thing is, I mean, Russell is very much a big champion of Big Finish, so I can't imagine he would come to bat if Disney had any pushbacks. So yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and they don't own Doctor Who. They own the streaming rights for the United States. Mm-hmm. So I and other places,
UK and Ireland.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I don't think we're gonna have issues there.
No. Yeah, no, I know, but I just, because I'm always like, please let it, not lose its charm, but also I'm like, I would do some things to get a Doctor Who themed area of the Disney park.
So that's
Tomorrowland
what you
needs
want.
to refresh anyway.
That's Tomorrowland. That's where the Disney money.
That's all Elizabeth asks.
Yeah, I keep thinking about how much, if Disney starts making Doctor Who merch, I'm going to be in big trouble, especially the pins.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some of my pins back here, but I have so many more. It's a problem.
That's fair.
It's a problem. But yeah, so I'm glad that Russell found a way to not completely reset, but to kind of soft reset the Doctor so that there's not a ton of huge baggage that has to be addressed right away as soon as all these new viewers are going to come into the show. And I'm excited to see the show kind of grow again. It's a show that I love and I want more people to love too.
For sure.
I'm like, I don't want to gatekeep Doctor Who by any stretch of the imagination. I want everybody to watch this show.
Yes.
I love it to bits.
Yes.
Anything else you guys want to talk about for the 60th or upcoming or?
I think we hit everything. I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours and hours.
I got it out of my system.
I unfortunately don't have the time to sit here and talk for hours and hours, but the specials were amazing, and I'm really excited for the Christmas special. So.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
It'll be great.
It's going to be very exciting. It's going to
be so fun.
Okay, so one of the things that we do here is I have a button for a random TARDIS wiki page to do a fun random Doctor Who fact before we're done. And believe it or not, one that came up is Cupid, parentheses, reindeer, on the first try.
A reindeer.
Yeah. So the TARDIS, it's literally a 2-sentence entry for Cupid the reindeer for Doctor Who. And it says, Cupid was one of Santa Claus's reindeer. While at the Nadir Motorway Service Station, a man dressed as Father Christmas approached the 8th Doctor and Patricia Ryder and asked if anybody had seen his reindeer, one of which was Cupid, and that is from Death in Blackpool, which is an audio. So that's fun.
What?
At least a fun one came up. Sometimes I have to hit that button a few times before I actually get a good page.
That is fun. All right. And very on theme, festive. Yeah. Love it. Amazing.
And I legitimately, hand on heart, that was the first one that came up.
We love it.
Sometimes I have to press it a few times to get a good fact.
Amazing.
Yes. Anyway. So that is all for this episode of Temple of Geek's Who Review. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a review if you want. You can also follow us on social media for more Doctor Who content. On Twitter, or X, TikTok, and Instagram is @Temple of Geek. You can also visit templeofgeek.com for Doctor Who cosplay guides, episode reviews, news, and more. So one more time, I'm Elizabeth, aka Lady of Time Cosplay, and you guys, where can they find you online again?
I'm Dana. You can find me on Twitter or X at A Bit Meddlesome, and on Instagram under the same handle.
And you can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Maddie_Whovian, and on Twitter as Mad_Whovian.
Nice. All right. Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.